Welcome to another episode of the Big Brothers of Destruction podcast. It's your host, likes to post, the Masaku, and I just got finished watching AEW Revolution by myself, man. Unfortunately, Swag was out of town. He's handling his own personal business, but we're going to always be here to give you the latest news on our thoughts on pay-per-views and contents on this wacky world of wrestling. So stay tuned. We're going to get right into it. So if you appreciate this content and appreciate the fact that we're still coming out with it, even if you don't have both brothers, please choke slam that subscribe button. Choke slam the like button. Tombstone the subscribe button as we go right into AEW Revolution. And boy, do we got to talk about this pay-per-view, as it is a very lengthy one, okay? Tony Khan, for some reason, wants to make every pay-per-view fucking WrestleMania. There's so many matches, bro. I think it's technically a total of 14, if not 15 matches. Technically 3 pre-show matches, and then the rest of the card, which was 12 matches. We had 2 returns, 1 debut, man, and a crazy finish that was like, boy, I don't know what to tell you about that Texas death match. Man, that there are points in that match where I was just like, man, what the fuck? When is it? Oh, what the fuck is going? How the fuck? What the fuck? There was a lot of that. All right, so let us go match to match in order and explain some of my thoughts about the booking in this show. So, first match is Willow Nightingale. Technically, this is not the first match. The first match is the tag team pre-show match. Didn't watch that. Didn't catch it. But I did get a chance to catch Willow Nightingale versus Lana Cross. And I noticed that with this match, it was a decent match. It was for the TBS title. It was a decent match, but I understood the premise behind this match, and I didn't like it. And I'm going to talk about it later on as we get to their tag team match, what my thoughts about in this booking situation. But the whole idea of this match was not even about really defending the title. It was about wearing Willow Nightingale down, wearing her shoulder down, and giving a reason why the effects of the next match comes to fruition. And you don't even see it later on until the match comes up, so we'll get to it then. But very decent match. Lana Cross getting used to her as a, you know, as a new addition to AEW. I'm very familiar with Willow Nightingale. She's very much of a brawler, some great wrestling technique. Lana Cross showing similar, but that's something about that UK style, man. They got mad grit. They got mad grit, and she definitely showed it tonight. But Willow Nightingale wins with, I think it was a crucifix or it's a small package pin. I can't remember, but the way Lana showed her face afterwards, it was like, what the fuck? She kind of had that look of like, what just happened? Are you fucking serious? All right, so then we go into the next match, which before we go in there, by the way, let us know in the comments what you thought about the Lana Cross versus Willow Nightingale championship match. Please let us know in the comments. But next match, it is the 21 Blackjack Battle Royal for the national championship title. Wow, forget this damn belt that Ricochet has, but very weird battle royale rules. I think it's similar to that TNA battle royale where it starts outside and then gets inside. Stupid, but you got a lot of people on this match. And here's the thing I said while I was watching this show is you gotta give it to Tony Khan again. He's gonna let you eat, okay? Where WWE is getting these 4 pay-per-views, letting storylines not even flourish. They're not even letting them breathe. They're not even letting them cook. They're just situations will happen, and you got to wait months in advance to see the next part of the story. Where Tony says, "Nah, I'm gonna let all y'all eat tonight." And granted, this 21 Blackjack Battle Royal wasn't necessary, but it got some people on the card. Tommaso Ciampa got on the card. The Bang Bang Gang got on the card. Some people from CMML. We have Dante Fox, who I love fucking seeing anytime he's in the ring. I think Trent was there. Matter of fact, just the whole team. Roppongi Vice, the old Roppongi Vice was in there. Like, there was a lot of people that was in this match. Did you like, why are they here? Tony Khan wants them to eat. I can't blame you. Appreciate you, Tony Khan, for employing these people and putting them in the ring and helping them get that bag. So, um, honestly, when it comes to this battle royal, it really was all about Ricochet versus Jack Perry. I've noticed that from the beginning of the match. First off, Jack Perry had the most crazy entrance, so you kind of could see right there he was winning the fucking match. But Jack Perry comes up in a fucking Jurassic Express where Luchasaurus, who is still injured, opens the door and roars, and Jack Perry comes out. He spits in the fucking cameraman's face, by the way, rude as fuck. But he goes out to the ring, and you notice he's the only one with a specific entrance. Therefore, I knew he's winning this shit, okay? So, off the rip, Ricochet and just Jack Perry just go at it. Like, they make an effort to make sure these two are fighting each other for a good chunk of the match, and the camera is on them for a good chunk of the match. Outside of that, great high flying spots from people from CMML and some people from ROH. There was some really nice spots here. It's a lot that you can go into, but since we're talking about 12 matches, I'm not gonna go into them fully, but I will again let you know about my booking thoughts. As the pre-show is ending, WWE, no, excuse me, AEW has this thing where they like to lead the pre-show into the show now. I don't know. I think it was just mainly, um, I want to say it's a book, like a marketing way of getting you like, oh shit, I need to buy the pay-per-view so I can watch this, which, not a bad idea. I mean, I feel like WWE should have been doing that shit years ago, but who am I to say about that? But it's an interesting tactic. But honestly, I felt like the first time you did it, like it was an accident. I think it was a match between Bandido and somebody else, and it was just like the pay per view just started, the power was going off, and the match is still going on. That was kind of like, oh shit is popping off. What are we doing here? And now you're doing it every pay per view. I don't like that. I don't. It takes the nuance of a unique situation and just running it. But once you start doing it every fucking time, it gets old real fast, unfortunately. I can't do it every fucking time. But hey, do you guys like how they open the show? Please let me know in the comments. But back to when the show actually starts, you get Ricochet and Jack Perry. So if you weren't really watching the pre-show, you don't notice all the other eliminations and everything else. But you get to where it was Jack Perry and Ricochet, and they're just duking it out for a little bit. And I guess this is the last part of the battle royal where again you start from the outside, you go in the inside, and then it goes into I think pin and submission and also over the top rope, or I think it's pin and submission until you get to the last two. I don't know. They really don't tell us the fucking rules. So once you get to Jack Perry and Ricochet, this is now a over the top rope battle royal. And they're tussling on the outside for a little bit. And I honestly didn't even know it was that stipulation until I noticed that Jack Perry was trying to do a Hurricane Rana and throw Ricochet out. And then it ends up with them two on the apron. And then Jack Perry does, I think it was a reverse. Oh, he did a Poison Rana. And then that Poison Rana led Ricochet to fall out the ring. Therefore, he wins the title. And honestly, I don't. Why does Jack Perry need this belt? Why? I can see you keeping the belt on Ricochet for a while. Why the Ricochet could have kept that belt for a little bit longer? I don't think it was time for you to rip that off of him. Because Jack Perry, I don't want to say Jack Perry has his connections to the back, and he just said, "Hey, I want a title. I don't care which title, but I want a title." And they said, well, we got these storylines going on for these other titles, and there's nothing going on with this title. So you can have that, and then maybe Ricochet probably wanted some vacation time. I don't know, but what I do know is I was not a fan of how that match ended. Well, no, excuse me. I'm not a fan of Jack Perry taking the belt because it's just like, what are you gonna do? You went back to being the Jurassic Express, and granted, Luchasaurus is currently injured, but like the whole idea is that they're supposed to be a tag team and is focusing on the tag team. Once somebody in a tag team gets a singles title, sometimes they kind of lose the sight of the tag team. That's just my personal opinion. But kudos to you, Jack Perry. You won the match, guys. You watched the 21 Blackjack Battle Royal. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think should have won? I thought maybe Tommaso Ciampa. If you're going to give anybody the belt, Tommaso Ciampa, he's red hot. He needs to be doing everything right now. Don't put him in a match like this Blackjack Battle Royal and then he does nothing. He does have moments, but it's like I really felt like you could have did more with that situation than you didn't. So, next up at that match we have it was the Don Callis family. No, that was not next. I know damn well that wasn't next. Ain't no damn way. Oh, actually, it was next. Ha 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 ha. Let me stop. So next up was Timeless Tony Storm versus Mina Shafir. So what I'm looking at my notes. So what happened was I think the Don Callis family trios match was supposed to happen, but that got like closer down the line. They kind of moved it a little bit. So no, actually, I take that back. So what had happened was the card was technically supposed to be trios championship match, and what they did was they moved the trios match with the tag team match with the Bucks. So the Bucks versus FTR was the next match. And hmm how many times have we done this match now? Like yes, the Bucks versus FTR, they're some of the best tag teams that AEW has to offer. But we've done this match like what 5 times now, and we don't even mind like in the we did it during the pandemic era. We did it in like, I think it's 2021 and 22, and then when they were heels, and then now we're doing it again. Where the Bucks, which by the way, the Bucks came out to their old theme song, and I was like, "Super Kick Party." Sorry, I marked out a little bit because I was like, finally, I'm tired of that dumbass EVP theme, and we got the real shit back. I was so fucking happy, but we got a tag match where the storyline was all about, I guess, FTR disrespected the Bucks, and then the Bucks disrespected their manager, and then FTR said, "Hey, you know what? We're going to fuck with your family," and they did that. And you know, I don't know why they felt they needed to do this shit, but as the Bucks came out, before they came out, they did their little video call or the video preview before they came out to the ring, and their video was just like their family members, like their kids, their cousins, their nephews, all of them just saying, we missed the Young Bucks, we missed this, Daddy's gonna win. Fuck FTR, all that, saying all these bad things about him and then like hyping him up, and I'm like, why the fuck are you doing this? I just didn't see a reason why. And that's just me. Maybe because again, you're using the family as a part of the storyline to give motivation for the Bucks to win the match, which to me, if you are going to do something like that, the motherfuckers should win. Okay? Don't don't try to pull the heartstrings and then you fucking lose. Oh, did I just spoil it? Yeah, FTR fucking wins. So we start the match off pretty simple, back and forth, and then some slight bloodshed happens. But on I think it was Matt. Matt gets a little bloodshed going. I think it was after a specific shot, and then next thing you know, Dax started bleeding, and typical Buck is it's a typical Bucks FTR match. Technical shit, flippy shit, really good stuff. And then there was a point where Matt was like going out to the apron, and I think his kids or somebody like was wearing his gear, and they were like, "Dad, you can do it." He was like, "Yeah, yeah, I can do it." I'm like, bro, what the fuck? What the fuck? Fuck, no, no, no. I don't. I don't like cheesy shit. Like that's like Federation year cheesy shit. And again, as a wrestling fan who's been watching it for years, like you can still tell me a story of how important this is just without doing cheesy shit. And I could be also a wrestling fan who could just shut the fuck up and watch it. But no, I'm going to criticize things that I see. It's like, why did you do that? You ain't need to do that. I'm already invested. Continue, proceed to give me match. So we get match and some flippy shit happens. There's a part where, again, as always, they use each other's finishers. So FTR uses the BTE trigger or the EVP trigger. And then they do, I don't think it was more bang for your buck. It was another one of their moves, and they got a 2 count. From there, the Bucks get up, and then they do the Shadow Machine, and then they do the EVP BTE trigger. They get a 2 count. And then something else happens to where there's a point, and I think the camera wasn't even on it when it happened. It was kind of like panned off and on, but there was a point where it was a roll up, 1, 2, 3, Bucks lose. Right, and FTR's chilling. They're excited. They're embracing their win, and then all of a sudden you get some text on the screen. Screens go black, and it just says even. Then they reset it because I guess they must have fucked it up, and it was like even, revenge, or revar, and then you saw the R, and it was the rated R, and you got to pop because you think you know me. Edge comes out, or Cage, as you're getting ready to call him now, but it's Cope, and next thing you know, you get Christian Cage's music to hit. And then from there, Christian Cage comes up behind FTR, gets the drop on it's not Dax, the other guy. He sprays him in the face with some shit, and then he unprettiers Dax, and then Edge comes in the ring and then spears old boy, and then they unprettier the manager, Stokely, and welcome back Edge and Cope, or excuse me, Cope and Christian. I said Edge and Cope. That's the same nigga. But welcome back Cope and Christian. They had a moment where they picked up the AEW tag team titles, and they do the these look nice. You know what, Cope and Christian, you missed your moment when you could have been in that last table match with the Dudleys and the Hardys. It's probably not your doing because AEW and WWE are in cahoots and have issues, but you did have a partnership with TNA at one point, and you fucked that up. AEW, you could have made that happen, but I guess Edge and Christian are removing themselves from the greatest tag team series of matches because you will never see another TLC. Apparently, you'll never see another trio, or not trios, triple threat tag team match with the three of them because the Dudleys have retired. So, but they said, hey, we want AEW tag team titles, and let's do that. So then the Bucks came in, and I guess they were like, hey, I guess, how you doing? Welcome back. And that's it. So welcome back, Christian Cage and Cope. Next match is Toni Storm versus Mina Shafir. And I didn't know this was a match. I didn't know this was a match that was needed. The feud between her and Orange Cassidy, and Mina Shafir and Wheeler, I thought ended when he lost his fucking hair. Thought it was done. Apparently not. So Mina Shafir, I guess they had been tackling each other, battling each other constantly throughout the weeks, and it led to the point where their next match would have to be a uh, everybody's banned from ringside. Okay, so a singles match with no interference. Just say that, but banned from ringside, just giving the special stipulation as if there was nothing crazy that happened during the match that made it that garnished the fact of like no interference. Like, I mean, yeah, Death Riders always interfere. Toni Storm don't really got backup like that. I mean, I guess she has the conglomeration. I don't know, but fairly decent match. Mina Shafir, man, she shows you every time that she is a person who used to do MMA, but she does this shit really fucking good in wrestling. She does really great. Toni Storm is Toni Storm. She's timeless. Timeless. Woman's timeless. Anyway, I think something happened where Mina Shafir like hit Toni Storm so hard, like her white makeup like smeared and it got mixed up or some shit like that. I don't know, but the rest of the match, her makeup was weird. So pretty good back and forth. We got a couple of hip attacks with Toni Storm to Mina Shafir, and it was one of the hip attacks where she's like, "Come on, give it to me," and no sold it, and then she did a Stormbreaker, no, or not say no, so she got a 2 count. So I was like, you got 3 hip attacks and a Stormbreaker, and that just gets you a 2. Man, they do not protect finishers at all, man. What the fuck is a finisher in AEW? I think that's just a transitional move at this point. But um, the rest of the match goes as usual. You know, Mina Shafir gets the mother's milk. Toni Storm breaks out of it, and then it's the way they ended this match. It was a very, very slow package, a slow small package, and Toni Storm got the win. And then you looked at it, and you're like, "That's how you fucking end it." So what was the whole point of the barred from the ringside thing? Like normally that shit happens, right? And normally there's Ronda Rousey. What the fuck are you doing here? Well, Toni Storm is already up the ramp, so she don't. Toni Storm, you're walking back down. What are you doing? What the fuck is this, Toni Storm? Why are you walking back down to Ronda Rousey? Also, why the fuck is Ronda Rousey here? Oh yeah, she's technically done some ROH stuff a while back, but who fucking cares? Why is Ronda Rousey here? Is she joining the Death Riders now? What the fuck? This is literally my reaction during this segment of this match. Well, the ending of the match. Ronda Rousey comes out there, Toni Storm face each other. Nothing happens. No, excuse me. Mina Shafir comes up behind, hits Toni, and then they dip. And then what I liked about this, which I figured would help with the runtime of the show, but it doesn't, as Mina Shafir and Ronda Rousey are walking out to the back, going to the Death Riders hideout. John Moxley's music hits and he comes out and he bumps into Ronda Rousey like, "Oh shit, what are you doing here?" Well, welcome. So I guess again Ronda Rousey is joining the Death Riders, which I mean fits. You know, she does fit. She's not as popular as she used to be in being a solo act. She definitely needs to rub shoulders with people that I guess would work. I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments what y'all thought about it. Y'all like the fact that Ronda Rousey is here? I don't care. She has already rubbed me the wrong way from her experiences in WWE in her mouth behind the scenes in interviews. It's like, I can't really root for you no more, sweetie. You kind of a little bit of a bad apple. Not toxic, but you got a little spoiled, little too spoiled where you was at, and then now you got the Netflix fight, and now you're in AEW. Which, by the way, your Netflix fight, I don't know when it's coming up. So how the fuck are you now getting into? You can't do shit because you got this fight coming up. So like, what the? Okay, y'all can see how my head hurts with that, right? Maybe y'all could tell me in the comments what was Tony's thoughts about that, or what was his idea behind that. I don't fucking know. So again, John Moxley going against Konosuke Takeshita, which this is, I think, series 3 of them fighting each other, which every one of them have been bangers. Swag Switcher could tell you the first one was a banger. I could agree the second one was a banger, and this one did not disappoint. I wouldn't say match of the night, but very close contender. Very good back and forth between John Moxley and Takeshita. There was points where, they were trying to trade off on each other's finishers. There were some mean and stiff hits. I mean, Takeshita hit him one time with a knee, and I was like, "Oh, buddy, his jaw is not on his face anymore. There's no fucking way." There was some stiff elbow shots. I mean, it was a very stiff fight, but that's Moxley. What do you expect? It's supposed to be stiff. This is the closest to a New Japan match as possible. And then there's a part where the Takeshi hits him with the I know his finisher. I know it's not the burning arrow. And I do know it's basically a falcon arrow, but he is with the finisher, and apparently his finisher is solid. It is a protected finisher, but no longer is it protected because as Takeshita hits him with his finish, Moxley kicks out at one. Was it no? Was it two? He kicks out at two. Kicks out at two, which somewhat protects it. But then Moxley bounces back up, goes a little bit more, gets some couple more punches in, and then he says, "Fuck it," pulls the trigger, Death Rider, and then Takeshita, I think, did he kick out at one? I know he kicked out at one in something that Moxley did. He kicked out at one, and from there, the back and forth continues. There was a turnbuckle spot. There was some back and forth outside the ring. Like, it was a very stiff match until, boy, man, I got to give it to Moxley for this. If he's really been training MMA, this finish was like, ooh, yeah, that's a very solid finish. So the finish was Moxley goes in for a takedown, gets it in a rear naked choke. But he transitions the rear naked choke to take Takeshi's arms behind his back by taking his legs and wrapping him in the position of a rear naked, but they're sitting up and he has his arms behind his back. So Takeshi can't tap. He's trying to move. He gives it one little itch effort to say, like, maybe I can move my leg. And man was just asleep. And I was like, ooh, after watching this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu movie, and this dude basically was like, yo, I'm gonna take you to the ground, I'm gonna have you face down, I'm gonna choke you, and I'm gonna do it again, I'm gonna show you how to do it, blah blah blah. And he basically did that, but like sitting up, shit was crazy. I was like, that was a solid, like, blood sport finish of a match. And I know Swag is gonna probably hate this, but more babyface shit happens with the Death Riders as the match ends. So Jon Moxley wins, keeps his title, and then the Death Riders come out and applaud him, and then they do some ceremonial bows. Moxley and Takeshita do ceremonial bows, and then there's a point where Moxley reaches his hand out for a handshake. Takeshita says, fuck that shit, and then gets into the ropes. Second guess himself, turn around, gives him a handshake, and that was it. That was it. Like, okay, are we just saying you're the better man? Also, normally the Death Riders jump motherfuckers. Like, this is that point where I guess I have to tell Swag and probably anyone that doesn't like what they're doing with the Death Riders. Jon Moxley as a character, as a wrestler, is very charismatic. So even if you hate him, you will love him because the stories he tries to tell in the ring in his matches are very much of a bar fight brawl of a guy who is just like, when he punches, he's like, I ate that. Like, what's up? He gives that vibe of like a fighter who won't go down for some bullshit. And I think that is very enthusiastic for the audience. They seem to really love Moxley and what he's doing. So next up from there, we have, oh man, I was really upset about that match, but that wasn't next. Next up, I believe in the right order, this would have been the Strickland versus Brody King match. Why the fuck was this a match? Why? And here's the reason why. It's not even saying these two shouldn't wrestle each other. And I'm not even saying that. What I'm saying is that the promo of this match is both men calling each other the most dangerous men in professional wrestling or in AEW. Yet you do it with a fucking singles match. No hardcore, no nothing, no weapons, no nothing. I understand that doing it I guess maybe could have possibly took away the shine and the brutality that happens later on in the night, but like, you can't really give me a match, I don't say stipulation, but an angle where you're trying to tell me both men are the most dangerous men in AEW and some dangerous shit don't happen at all in the match. Now, granted, Swerve and Brody King did utilize the fuck out that ring. The ring, the arena itself, they utilize everything. So Swerve taking off the floor mats. There are points where Brody King was using the apron to slam Swerve a certain way. They were using the corners of the apron. They were using the turnbuckle, the buckle itself, stripping that off, using that in a splash. It was just, they were utilizing so much of the arena as their battlefield. And I guess if you want to put it as that, like, hey, I'm the most dangerous man in AEW by being able to utilize every piece of the ring and get away with what I'm doing. Because technically, a lot of that shit they did was not deemable for disqualification. You slamming somebody on a mat doesn't deem it as disqualification. You technically slamming somebody in usage of the ring is not disqualification, which is always interesting to me how that works. Like, you can't use the turnbuckle itself. You can't strip the padding off the turnbuckle and use the turnbuckle, but yet you can strip the backing of it and then use that. Let me know in the comments if I'm just bugging the fuck out, but that just didn't make sense to me. So I would think disqualification. But again, very stiff back and forth. I see what the purpose of the match is to let Brody King rub shoulders with somebody who was really big time in AEW at one point as a champion. And we're going to make him look strong even though he's taking the L, which is the smart way to go. I didn't think Brody King would have won that match. I don't think he should have won that match, but I also don't think we should have had this match right now, because that, like, you gotta do something crazy for that match. Maybe they do another match again, and that one's when they actually get into the hardcore stuff. Because Brody King, he honestly looks like he should be a deathmatch wrestler, but he's not, and he's just a big ass. So we'll see, I guess, in the next match that they have, because this feud is not over. So the way the match ends is Brody King gets hit with one of Swerve's moves. I can't remember which one it was. No, he not house call, but the stomps. So Swerve, he hits him with hits Brody King with a maneuver outside the ring, which caused Brody King to get back in the ring. And as he was getting in the ring, he looks up and all he sees is Swerve just stomp. And then from there, Swerve gets the pin. But this man kicks out, I think, he kicks out at one from the fucking stomp. And I was like, why are we kicking out of a finish at one? That's crazy. What are we doing here, AEW? And Swerve sold it. His eyes was, he sold it. But from there, Brody King, he gets house called. And then he eats it. And he gets house called again. And then he eats it. And then he stands up. He gets house called again. And he eats it. And then he screams, "Oh!" And he gets house called one more time. And then 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I mean, again, they tried to make him look strong on the way out. It was like, oh, he had to really use everything against him to win that match, which, for all intents and purposes, that is how you should make sure Brody King looks at the end. He has to stay strong. And to continue other matches like this, I guess so, but now I'm wondering who does he go up next with? Or we just continue in this feud? But as the match ends, Swerve tells Prince Nana to get him a cinder block. We're bringing those back now. And for those who are privy to what Swerve has done with the cinder block, he normally likes to hit his finish, the Swerve Stomp, on the bricks. But as he was getting ready to set up the brick, we get Kenny Omega coming out to the ring to save for the save, and it's just setting up that feud. So again, I feel like this match was just to transition to what the next match is, which is probably going to be Swerve and Kenny. So it's like, Brody King just got his ass kicked or just rub shoulders with Swerve. That's what I feel like it was. So, guys, let me know what you thought in the comments about this match as well. Do you think Swerve should have won? Well, do you think Swerve deserved the win? Do you think Brody should have won? Let me know. From there, next up, we do have, I think it was, let me check here, my notes. Oh, Tekla versus Chris Statlander. I do believe I am going in the correct order. There was a lot of fucking matches. I'm sorry, guys. So, Tekla versus Chris Statlander, the rubber match, no, the rubber match. This is a second match between them, and it's a 2 out of 3 falls, which I don't know what happened before that mean it need to be a 2 out of 3 falls. Maybe it's something I'm missing, but I didn't think it was necessary. It should have been just a regular normal match, but I also feel like, man, Tekla, bro, she is a star. Like, when they gave her her little spot, her little video package before she came out there, she's a fucking star, dude. She's a fucking star. That is absolutely a star. Okay. And then from there, Chris Statlander, generic wrestler number 8. She's a great wrestler, but there's nothing about her that makes her stand out. There's nothing about her that makes her stand out like the rest of the wrestlers in that roster do. At least Willow Nightingale has something, even though I can't remember her tag team partner. She even has something with the puppets. Megan Bain, Lana Cross, Monet. Everybody has something, but Chris Statlander kind of wants to be an alien, but kind of don't want to be an alien. Or she wants to be outside of this world, but she kind of don't. So it's like, that's why I say she kind of generic wrestler number 8. She's lovely as an individual. She's gorgeous, but like her character has no depth, and I don't like it. So I don't know what we're gonna do about that. But long and behold, in this match, 2 out of 3 falls. There was a point where I'm watching the match, and I was like, "This is a 2 out of 3 falls match. Shouldn't somebody get the?" And there's the pin. Okay, cool. First pin. It was funny how that shit happened. I was dead ass in my mind thinking this is a 2 out of 3 false match, and they've been going for a little bit. Shouldn't this be the point where that person gets the pin? And there's the pin. Wow, look at me. Perfect timing. I found that extremely funny. But technically gets the first pin through I think it was like somewhat of a package pin or a leverage pin, I guess you can call it a leverage pin. And Chris Statlander gets her pin next, and then therefore it's back and forth until Tekla gets the dub, which as she should. Like I said before, she's a freaking star, and I feel like, man, if you would have made Chris Statlander get that belt back, you making Tekla a transitional champion, I would have decked you in the schnoz, Tony Khan. The fuck? Honestly, I don't even see why we needed to do this match. To me, honestly, Tekla needs some new blood. She needs to be going against some other people, getting some other people some stock, creating more feuds, because her versus Chris Statlander, that just won't hit it for me. Again, nothing against Chris Statlander as a person, as a wrestler. I just feel like her character is doing nothing. She has nothing as a character. And while she is a phenomenal wrestler, it's just her character. I don't know. It's just, it wants to be here. It doesn't want to be here. But I don't want to be here talking about it anymore. I feel like I'm just shaming her at this point. I don't. She doesn't deserve that. So, next match, I believe it was Andrade. Let me say it correctly. Andrade El Idolo. Which, man, there's like one or two things I think he's doing. First off, I think, man, he got divorced. And he says, man, I need these bitches all on me, bruh. And the way he be looking when he go out to the ring, I'm like, that's specifically for the bitches. Ain't nobody else but for the bitches. And I only say bitches because I don't know their names. But, as Cat Williams said, he's definitely doing it for the ladies, okay? I mean, the whole taking his pants off spot, all that kind of stuff. Andrade looks like $1,000,000 okay? I don't know why New Japan didn't give him the global title, and I don't know why the fuck he's going against Bandido, but I will say this much, they was definitely representing for Mexico in that bitch. Bandido, as always, pow, pow. That motherfucking guy, okay? You can't say no to Bandido. Bandido is a phenomenal wrestler in this match. Technical wise, was match of the night. It's not match of the night, but technically sound, this match was really fucking good. Besides the spot where Bandido takes off his pants and he wears shorts, and I'm like, you ain't wearing the Speedos, bro. You gotta go full fledged, you gonna do it. But he was also struggling to take them off too, so that was another thing. And then there's a part where Andrade finally takes his pants off, and I don't know if he was just like, I want y'all to all see my bulge. I want y'all to all see the bulge, bro. And he in front of the front audience with nothing but dudes. So he just like bulge out in front of dudes. And I'm like, did you play in that spot, bro? Did you play in that spot? Because I'm like, bro, why are you meet all out in front of the guys? I mean, that's your thing. I mean, I don't think of it, but I mean, I don't know. But man, straight out here just letting it all out in front of dudes. All right, it's cool. But he does the typical spot. He actually does it twice, where he does the photo thing and with the plants, and outside of those spots that he did, the match was pretty fucking solid. Andrade actually hits his finisher off the second rope. I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically a double arm. He hooks you in the double arm DDT or the unarmed DDT, and then he spins you with it, almost like Crossroads. But he does it off the second rope, and he hits that bitch, and that bitch was clean. And Andrade wins the match. Wait, I don't think it happened here. What match did it happen in? I feel like I missed a very important spot. Oh, actually, I'm so sorry. I need to take it back. I forgot to mention this, and I thought it was in a different match. So during the Jon Moxley and Takeshita match, at the end of it, Ospreay returns, and he returned in almost like a Dragon Ball Z-esque return. Like, it kind of hinted that he was in one of the chambers that the Saiyans would sit in and rejuvenate their cells, and then he kicks out of it and he goes, and I was like, this don't look Assassin's Creed related. I thought that was your thing, buddy, which, people can have other things too, but he's very well known for that. Same thing for Kenny Omega and Terminator, and being the One Wing Angel. So, yeah, but welcome back, Will Ospreay. That was the second return I forgot to mention. But the next match we have, I believe, was the trios match. Yeah, the trios match. Trios. Yep. Trios match with the Don Callis family, which is Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis and Okada versus Mystico, Jet Speed, which is Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey. Boy, was this a fucking good match. Boy, that match was going 10,000 miles an hour. And I can also see from this match why Mystico had the award for Wrestler of the Year last year. Totally could see why. I mean, I know Mystico is a great wrestler, but man, anytime he's in the ring, he's just showing the fuck out. It's so easy for him, bro. Everything he's doing is just fluent, and you gotta appreciate the craft, okay? You got a lot of great people in this match. I mean, Okada and Mystico, you got Speedball Mike Bailey, you got Kevin Knight, and again, you also have Kyle Fletcher and damn, why did I forget his name? Mark Davis. I thought it was Kyle Davis. I don't know why I said Kyle Davis in my brain. But while this was a great match, I am not a fan of what the outcome of the match was. So, before this match happens, okay, Speedball, or just gonna say Jet Speed for short. Jet Speed was recently tag team with trios. They were recently in a trios with Hangman Adam Page, and it was called Rodeo Speed something or some shit. They got t-shirts and everything for it. And I thought maybe this is gonna be a trios that will last for a while. No. So Hangman can actually go for the title. He relinquished the belts to the Don Callis family, which they only kept it for technically maybe a month or some change, to only lose them. And get this, by the way, because Jet Speed were the trios champions before. They said, hey, we're going to trade a cowboy for Mystico. That's literally all that happened. They just said, oh, you going off for the heavyweight title, Hangman? Okay, cool. Mystico? I mean, you already rock with us anyway, because we all high flyers. So let's just do this. And once they won the titles, Mystico became all elite, which I was like, what does that even do? Are you removing him from CMML, like, or is he just strictly AEW now? Which I would think that would never happen, because Mystico is a person of the people, and he looks like the kind of person that for his community, he is not gonna do CMML shit. Like, he's just not. So I guess, are you just saying he's just a part of the roster? Which at this point, Tony Khan is collecting wrestlers like fucking action figures, man. Like, it's fucking crazy. Cause it's like, all right, there's so many wrestlers. Do you have enough space for them? And then I look at this card and I'm like, apparently you do. Cause boy, this card is fucking huge. So after that match, we do get this pointless ass match, which was the Conglomeration versus the Dogs. And man, how to shit on a fucking faction before they even get a chance to shine, bro. So again, if you're not familiar with the Conglomeration, it's Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and did my brain just go to shite? Like, what the fuck? Um, yo, you gotta be kidding me. My brain just went crazy. So yeah, it is the Conglomeration contains the Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and where's his name? Darby Allin. Damn, boy, I had a brain fart. Well, technically, Darby Allin's not part of the Conglomeration. I take that back, actually. He's not a part of the Conglomeration. But what I can say is the Dogs came out in a really cool entrance. Really cool entrance. But aside from just a cool entrance, they lost. They fucking lost. They lost because freaking Gabe Kidd, which apparently he's a hothead, but not a smart one, he gets his hand caught in the stage, which, by the way, in reality, if your hand is caught in something like that, bitch, you better be screaming. That shit should be in pain. You might want to amputate it at that point. Like, that's a lot of pain. There's no way you telling me your hand is caught in a situation, unless it's like, I need some butter and slide that bitch through or some shit, or like some grease and shit. I don't know. But his hand gets caught, which led the Dogs to lose their match. Which, by the way, is not technically winning clean, but like, you might as well say they won clean, because at the end of the day, the Dogs lost. And again, they just became a faction, and they've already lost twice now, I think. I think they've lost twice. I think they lost the first match, and this is the next one they lost. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section, please. But I'm just like, bro, David Finlay. Let's have a conversation real quick, man. So you didn't go to WWE for this? You lost twice now. Did Tony Khan say, hey, I'm going to need you to lose 5 matches? After the 5th one, shit will pop off. You're like, okay. 5 matches? Okay, lose 5? Maybe shit gets better. Okay, we'll see. You're on match 2 right now of 2 losses or some shit like that. And boy, I was just, man, the Dogs should not have lost, okay? The Dogs shouldn't have lost. But we're going to get right down to it, to the final match, because, man, as I've said before, this pay-per-view was long as fuck, and we got to get to the nitty-gritty of it. But as we go into the last match, which is the AEW World Championship match, that is a Texas death match. And boy, the level of violence. If I can give it a GTA star, it was definitely a 5. Okay. The level of violence and brutality in moments where you're just like, how the fuck did you get up from that happen? And I think I mentioned that earlier before. Like, I'm going to talk about how much I did not like the fact that this would happen and then they will pop up afterwards. And it's like, bro, you know what? This is really video game shit, as the Undertaker would like to say. So I will give it to MJF coming out to the Terry Funk tights. That gave me a little pop for a second. I was like, okay. Paying homage. I appreciate that. But also, Hangman Adam Page, I guess Grave got pissed on by MJF and he pulled an Austin Powers where he pissed on it twice. Okay. So going into this match, Hangman Adam Page made a promise. And this promise to me, which is very Cody-esque, it made me wonder, why did we do this, right? So Hangman said, hey, if I cannot win this match, I will never go for the AEW World Championship title as long as I live. So as any wrestling fan hears this, well, he's gonna win because, you're never gonna go for the title again. Are you going to WWE? What's going on there? I don't know. So that's the stipulation, right? The stipulation in the match: if Hangman loses, he can never, ever, ever go for the title as long as he lives. Does the nigga gotta die? Oh, please don't, please. Oh, don't kill his character and he comes back as an undead cowboy or some shit. No. And then he's technically dead so that he could go for the title. I mean, I don't think they would do that. I don't think they're crazy enough to do that. But it's AEW. I mean, I'll take it back. AEW's not doing that right now. TNA is doing it. They're resurrecting a fucking character currently. But who knows? Anyway, match is pretty good. There are again points where I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? So I forget who brought it out, but I think it was Hangman brings out the glass. They do slams on the glass. The glass is definitely sugar glass, and you can see it as it breaks down into sugar in the ring. So good job keeping you guys safe on that one, because real glass. You seen what happened to Nick Gage. And if you don't know, look up Tournament of Death. The man literally died and then was brought back to life. So just putting that out there so that way you're not confused. But the items that were brought out in this match, we have tables, we have barbed wire tables, we have a barbed wire chair. There was a lot, guys. There was a lot. There were a lot of moments, like I said before, that was like, ooh, you consented to that? Ugh. All right, bro. Oh, okay. And you want to know that spot I'm talking about? So every moment, I won't say every moment, every big match that has a storyline like this, when we talk about the the Texas death match, right? The last couple of that been happening were against Swerve, and normally it would be Hangman, right? And obviously Moxley that one time. But with that stipulation, they always want to pay back homages to the previous matches. Like, bro, make them their own. Don't bring back every one of them, right? So what they did was there was a point where Hangman, I guess, consented to having a syringe put in his mouth and then MJF pushing the liquid out, which I was like, that kind of gross. But all right, we here for that. And when Hangman did it to him, he put a numbing agent in it, so therefore it made Swerve numb. And I believe, okay, maybe after now thinking about it, this is what happened. So maybe maybe MGF used the same numbing syringe, but because he put it to his face too. No, my logic is flawed. So what I was gonna say was, when Hangman did it to Swerve, he pushed a numbing agent into his mouth, but even though the pin was out, I guess. But when MJF does it, the numbing agent leaks out. And so therefore it technically never numbs him. So as he goes for a chair that has barbed wire on it, which there were way too many like, I'm going to hit you now moments in this match that I'm like, I guess we're just cueing the other opponent to let them know, which is again safety precautions. But there was just way too many moments where MJF was just, and then Hangman fucking intercepts, and you're just like, bro, what the fuck? All right, cool, whatever. Boom. So as MJF's getting ready to hit him with his barbed wire chair, Hangman, he reverses it and it hits MJF with it. The audience says, "Hey, hit him again." He hits him again. Very brutal shots, by the way, which led to a part where MJF sets up a table. And you know the cardinal rule in wrestling: if you set that bitch up, bitch, you going through it. So it doesn't happen yet, though. But as they continue wrestling in the ring, we get to a point where um MJF did something at this point where oh yes, MJF actually got the chance to do a table spot or set up a table spot. And then the first table spot that was set up, Hangman did a dead eye, right? Did a dead eye through the table, which at that point when I saw it, I was like, all right, cool. Transitional move. What's next? And then it happens again on another table. Oh, actually, no. Take that back. MJF actually tombstoned Hangman through a table, and then Hangman dead-eyed him through a table. My apologies. But the match gets so brutal that Hangman brings back the dog collars that CM Punk and MJF were using years ago in Revolution. And I love MJF's face when this happens as he wakes up from his comatose state or his just getting beat up state, which by the way, MJF sold the fuck out of some of these moves, some of these situations, but I'm gonna give it to I'm gonna tell you my frustrations. Anytime a 10 count was happening, there'd be 9. I'm instantly up. No. If I'm a wrestler, and this is just me, if a count's happening, it's like 1, you at least should be like trying to give something. Like just like you can't like just something. But to be like straight and then hear 9 and you instantly just pop up. I don't like that. That part to me felt like really video game shit. Like if you played old wrestling games, you're just like on your controller. Like it felt like that. And normally you get up earlier than that, but that's what it felt like. You just on your controller, hoping to get up. But they did that way too much. There was moments in this match where I was like, man, Hangman is about to win. Oh man, Hangman about to win. Oh man, Hangman about to win. Oh, and then there was just something that would happen where MJF just kept getting up. And then you started to see a little bit of the beauty of the match. Cause you're like, I know Hangman is winning this shit. I know this because there's no fucking way you're telling me he's never going for that AEW title again. So how is he going to win? And every moment, Hangman is dominating in this match. He's dominating, right? MJF can get a lick in, but Hangman would just stop it. He would just stop it and then do something else. And MJF got a lot of goofy situations. So one thing they did at the apron beginning, they would go to not go to the apron. They went up stage and then they hinted to a knock off the stage moment, right? But they didn't do it. They kept reversing each other, which the perpetual 3 punch is annoying to me. And if you're not familiar with the 3 punch rule, The 3-punch rule is you do 1 punch, you stagger a little bit. Second punch, you stagger a little bit. Third punch, you dive. So they did that like multiple times. So first time MJF did it, reverses the third, does it to Hangman, reverses, they move from the stage. So I was like, okay, what was that about? Apparently it was hinting to foreshadowing to what will happen later. So then another situation happens where, wow, and I'm confused about this. Maybe somebody can stand me corrected. Maybe they can stand me corrected. But there was a point where, again, they used glass that was clearly sugar glass, but then they pulled out light tubes. And MJF took both of them shits, by the way. He took both of them. He took the one to the back, which instantly bled. Instantly, okay? Then he took one to the head. And I was like, oh, man, he couldn't have... No, he's bloody. He was already bleeding early in the match, but he was like instantly. So I don't know if that was a blade or he actually got hit in the head and that was just straight blood. Don't know, but it was a crazy spot. And it made me say, ooh, is this going into deathmatch territory at this point? Because once you get into the light tubes, that's deathmatch. If you ever seen a deathmatch, nowadays light tubes is normal as a fucking headlock. Okay, that's how light tubes are in deathmatch wrestling. But as we continue on with the match, there's a point. Okay, I just thought about this. There is a point where they go back to the stage and they do the 1, 2, 3 punch, 1, 2, 3 punch, 1, 2, 3, and then Hangman takes the chain that was on the dog collar chain. He takes the chain, he pulls MJF up to him, gets him into a belly, and then MJ says, "No," and they just woo, and it hit the stage, and then it's nothing but sparks and explosions. And you're just like, oh, maybe a double count out. That's how you do it. Because then that means, Hangman didn't win. Therefore, MJ didn't win. So technically, that's surely, oh, they're getting up at 9? What? Why are they getting up after that? That's a match ending spot. You end the match there. You keep going? Okay, fucking insane. So, yes, they both get up at 9. By the way, I kind of got a little pissed off at this referee choosing when to start counting because as the spot happens, right? The referee's on the stage. You start counting. You know what the referee did? He jumped off the stage, got closer and said, okay, now I'm going to start counting. And by the way, when he would count, he would get all up in your grill. He'd be like, "This you. 1, 2," like he all up in your face. All up in your face. And so I thought maybe that was the reason why, because you had to clearly hear it, because maybe you're just fuzzy, which that might be good storytelling, referee. Let me shut the fuck up. But you should have started counting once they hit the fucking table, okay? That should be 1. And then for some reason, they're counting, by the way, and they want to show us the replay of the spot, which to me let me know that this is not the finish, unfortunately. But as we get back, no, he was on 1 when the spot or when the video popped up, which I don't think he could watch the video. But suddenly we get back in there at 7. And then they both pop up at 9. What the fuck? So then there's a part where I want to know, MJF, why did you consent to this? I mean, you have the right to do what you want to do. I was just curious, like, what was the point of this? But MJF gets walked like a dog back to the ring. After that spot, he gets walked like a dog. And then the audience is calling, "That's a good boy. That's a good boy." What are we doing? What are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? What the fuck is we doing? Okay, that's how I felt. We get back in the ring, same old shit. You know, MJF kept trying to hit his move, which I feel like as a wrestler, he protects the Heat Seeker. I feel like because he never used it this whole match, but I feel like he really protects Heat Seeker, where if he hits you with it, you should be done. So we go back and forth. Hangman again gets the upper hand. Hangman shows that because he's been through this match so many times, he should have resiliency. He should be able to get up. But some of them fucking spots, bro, it's like, how the fuck did you get up after that? Please tell me. Please tell me how the fuck you get up, because you're not supposed to. And this, I know Swag is going to have a fucking field day on this selling. Because, man, they won't sell in not a goddamn thing in them 9 counts, bro. Like, MJF, bro, there was points where he was looking at him and anything he did was pure exhaustion. It was pure, like, he would lay on his side and he just bleeding and he just looked helpless, like, bro, help me, bro. I got to get out of here, bro. But there is another table spot, which I don't know if he actually wanted to do a flaming table spot, which I'm very thankful he did, because Hangman Adam Page sets up a table. Then asks the audience, hey, anybody got a lighter? Anybody got a lighter? Anybody got a lighter? Lighter, 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 lighter. You got a lighter? 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 And he keeps screaming it. And so I think maybe he had a spot for a flaming table, and that didn't happen. So he comes out of the ring with um a barbed wire board, and he's getting ready to try to do the dead eye on it. Which, by the way, speaking of doing dead eye on crazy shit, my man, you did a dead eye on a fucking barbed wire chair, which for safety measures, you are protecting MJF's head. Your knees only hit the barbed wire, bro. All it was all knees, bro. All knees. Okay. You gotta be in pain. Okay. Then, as we get back to the table spot, then MJF sees an opportunity because Heyman wants to get on the second rope on the fucking apron. Why? When there's a fucking table with barbed wire right there? I don't know. But he gets on the apron, and of course, MJF grabs him, throws him, and he hits the table, which led to MJ bringing him back in the ring. And as the brutality continues, we finally get to the moment where I'm like, man, there's so much back and forth. There's a buckshot lariat. There's skews. There's so much going on. MJF, you are telling me you are extremely resilient, and I can give it to you, bro. I can give it to you being extremely resilient. But man, I'm at moments where I'm like, how is this match gonna end? When is it gonna end? What's going on? And then finally, we get to the ending of the match, and the ending shocked me because it's the same fucking ending, bro. You do it the same ending every time now. They apparently did this ending with Swerve versus Hangman, and then you do it with Moxley, and then now you do it with Hangman. So is it the proverbial, like, I'm hanging you and you're done? Like, I don't know what's the point, but let me just get to it. MJF finds a way to hang Hangman Adam Page. And boy, does it look gruesome. I could tell you that his body went completely limp for real. Because as he's hanging from the dog collar, by the way, which the dog collar, it hit a nerve. I could tell just from my background in martial arts that the buckle was right here, resting on a very safe part. If it was up here in this chin area right here, it probably would have been good, but the way it was resting, it wasn't hitting this, it was hitting this. So it wasn't really doing anything to his windpipe. Therefore, he just ate it for a second and finally limped. So normally, most people that like being choked, that normally works that way. So I don't know, maybe he might have felt that something. I don't know. But anyway, we get the hanging part, and then MJF drops him, and then when he drops him, Hangman's forehead hits the screen, and it was blood there, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is this man's death screen. This is his game over." Which I'm gonna make a meme for that. That shit was hilarious when I saw it, because I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't know I was getting this man death screen," and then the blood stayed on the camera, which I believe Tony Khan said, "Hey, keep that blood on the screen. I want the brutality." And MJF wins. Heyman doesn't get up after that. And which, by the way, there was no medical staff when this shit happened, by the way. But as they started getting a stretcher for Hangman, we got the roadies or everybody else, is the camera crew and all them, they're putting Hangman on a stretcher. MJF said, man, fuck that shit. Gets on top of Hangman, poses with the belt. and then we cut broadcast. So overall, man, the pay-per-view was exhausting, bro. I'm extremely tired. There were good moments. The Texas Chainsaw match, not Texas Chainsaw, the Texas Death Match was pretty good. I feel like I need to watch it again and it not being 12:30 in the morning. Like maybe that might be the case. 'Cause I did see where there were some gems. I did see where there was some gems in the match, and I couldn't really enjoy it because I'm like, bro, I'm so fucking tired. And two, I'm like, Hangman's gonna win this. So like, let's just wrap it up. Just wrap it up. And so whenever Hangman doesn't win, I was like, oh shit. What's gonna happen next week now for Hangman? If he could never go for the title again, why the fuck you in the business now? Which, going off of what Stone Cold said, if you're not in it for the heavyweight title, boy, why are you in the business? So Hangman, you tell me, why are you about to be in the business now? You getting ready to go for the trios titles again? Are you going for the Continental Classic title? Like, what you about to do, bro? What you about to do? I just really hope you don't become an undead cowboy, because that's apparently the only way you can be able to go for the title is if you're dead. So overall, guys, I feel like this pay-per-view, it wasn't a hit, it wasn't a miss, it was very in between. There were some great matches, some moments where I was like, we could have did this on Collision. I don't know. But please let me know what you guys think in the comments. I mean, what do you think of the show overall? Did you think the Texas Death Match was really great? Do you feel like maybe you might need to see a second watch? I think I'm going to watch it again tomorrow just to get my final thoughts on everything, because maybe I was just at this point, I was like, ooh, man, I'm getting tired. Or, I don't know. But I do want to say, guys, thank you so much for watching the video, giving me your opinions, as well as sticking with us here at the Big Brothers of Destruction podcast. Even though Swag is not here, we're going to have days where we're trying to do these things and still keeping the content going, because we love you and appreciate you guys so much. So if you haven't yet, if you made it this far in the video, why haven't you done it yet? Go ahead and choke slam that subscribe button. Excuse me. Go ahead and choke slam the like button. I keep forgetting this every time. Choke slam the like button and tombstone that subscribe button, because again, as always, we'll be here with new content every week from the Big Brothers of Destruction podcast, because the ring is sacred. The questions are real, but the destruction is guaranteed. I am your host who likes to post, the Mazuku, and that is my AEW Revolution review for 2026. Till next time, guys. See you soon.